Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Heel Phenom SP3. We are back once again with a brand new interview for Tru Heels BTR Between the Ropes. This time we have a wrestler, a model extraordinaire, I don't connoisseur, everything in between. You are a streamer on Twitch, and she will be a part of Mission Pro Wrestling Tournament Out of Hell coming up on November 6th. We have the lovely Vert Vixen with us right now. What's going on?
Not much. How are you?
I am doing well. I am doing well. I'm glad to have you on here and talk about some Mission Pro Wrestling and everything about you. You have a lot on your resume here.
Yeah, I'm one of those people where I've legit changed my career like 3 times now, so it's too much. I don't recommend, but find what makes you happy, but I don't recommend.
If you're happy wherever you go, it's nice to have different things on the resume. I'm one person that's worked door-to-door fundraising and Victoria's Secret, so I fill up the resume myself.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
So this is a quick reminder to you guys watching at home. Push the like button, show your support for this video, share it with all your wrestling fans and everyone in between. And of course, the iCard down at the bottom, you can push that to subscribe and the bell to stay notified for all the great content right here on Tru Heel Heat. So Vert Vixen, I am happy to have you on here. Tru Heels BTR. We like to talk about everything professional wrestling. So my first question for you is, how did you discover this crazy, crazy world full of a lot of different and interesting people of professional wrestling?
This story, man. I think I've told it a bunch of times now. And every time I tell it, I'm like, I don't know. I wish it could get better and I wish it could be different, but it's my story, so I'm just going to accept it for
Go
what
for
it
it.
is. I did not watch wrestling as a kid. I did not know what wrestling was. Like I've said before, and I'll say it again, to me, The Rock was the freaking Scorpion King. Like, he was an actor. That's who he was to me. Like, and same with John Cena. Like, they were actors. They weren't, like, wrestlers. I didn't know what wrestling was. Of course, I'd heard of, like, Hulk Hogan, but I didn't know what wrestling was. And I had a friend come over and stay at my house, and she binged watched Total Divas. And I made fun of her the whole time for it. I was like, why are you watching this trash? I don't understand. And then she left, and it was on my Hulu. And so I binged watched Total Divas. And I was like, why am I enjoying this? What are these women doing? Who are they? Why are they so strong and powerful? Oh my God, what are they doing in that ring? Like, it was just mind-blowing to see all the cool stuff they were doing. And then it was like, the more I watched it, the more I realized how strong these women were. Like, not just mentally and emotionally, but physically, and how much of a role model they were. And I was like, this is incredible. These women are actually, I mean, here I am making fun of my friend for watching a reality TV show, and these women are actually incredible people, like, doing all these amazing things. And I was like, what is this? I have to be a part of it. And so I started watching Raw. I started watching SmackDown. And I fell in love with Becky Lynch. Like, I fell in love with her. I was, like, all about her at the time, and I had to know more about wrestling. And I literally was like, I think this is something that really incorporates everything that I've done in my life. As weird as it sounds, it incorporates the cosplay aspect a little bit. It
There you go.
incorporates my on-camera experience, my hosting experience. And I was very athletic as a kid. I have 2 black belts in Taekwondo. So, like, I have this background. And then on top of it, something they don't really talk about a lot is my dad. He passed away in 2017. But he always wanted me to get into UFC. Like,
Wow.
yeah, it was weird. Like, when I was training when I was younger in martial arts, he always wanted me to do jujitsu. Like, before Ronda Rousey, before all that stuff. He was like, you should do this. You'd be so good at it. You should do it. And he always pushed me for that. So I always, like, feel him on my back. I know it's professional wrestling and not MMA, but I always feel him right there, like, supporting me with it. And so it's just, like, one of those things that I kind of fell into for a weird reason, but I felt like I needed to do it. And I found a school in Austin, and I died for, like, the first couple months of training, but I was like, I'm going to do this. And here I am somehow, because I love it. So.
So what would you say with all that stuff that you did before you kind of discovered professional wrestling? What was kind of the easiest thing to get used to with this crazy world? And then what was the hardest thing for you? I know the training had to be hard, taking the bumps and everything, what it was doing to your body, but what was like the hardest obstacle mentally for you to overcome with wrestling?
Well, the easiest thing for me, honestly, is like the on camera, and just in the sense of like cutting a promo. Like I still suck at cutting promos, I won't lie to you, but it just takes time, right, and experience. But being in front of the camera is something I've always been really comfortable with. So I was a host for GameStop TV for the past like last year, so I got real comfortable with being in front of it. So that was the easiest thing for me. The hardest, aside from just like you said, the training and getting over the mental like I'm gonna wake up and physically in pain every day. This is my life now. You know, it's not just a sport. Wrestling is a lifestyle. So it's not just I go to training. It's I need to diet. I need to exercise. I need to study tape. I need to do all this stuff. I need to, since I didn't watch wrestling as a kid, I need to go learn my wrestling history. You know, like
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of stuff that wrestling has. But I think that one of like the biggest challenges for me in general is kind of like the psychology behind each match. And a lot of that I think stems from the fact that I didn't watch it as a kid. So now it's like I'm relearning how like a match is not just a match, it's a story. And really how to put those stories together. Like that I think is like the most challenging for me at this point.
Awesome, awesome. So you say you were a host for GameStop TV. How is that? How is that kind of bringing in that whole on-camera experience is one thing, but video game world is a whole nother world altogether as well. And I know you're a Twitch streamer, so what would you say is how is the video game world different from the wrestling world?
You know, they're really not that different. Like,
Yeah.
of course they're different because they're two different things, right? But there's so much crossover in the wrestling world and the video game world, and I love it. It's a lot of the same fans, a lot of the same passions. It's great. But like, I guess one of the biggest things I'm trying to think that I've noticed the difference between the wrestling world and like the video game world is I'm trying to think. I was about to say like the fans in the sense of like how they react to like being a gamer versus like being a wrestler, because you know you got people that are really smart to the business, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time with video games you kind of have that too. Like I'm a community manager. Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, Freya.
Of course.
Freya. Hey, baby girl. Freya. Stop. Come here. I have 3 dogs, everybody, so I'm so sorry. But honestly, in the video game world, you have the same thing. Like, I'm a community manager for Gunfire Games, and we see a lot of the similar mentality of being smart to the business, you know? So there's really not that much difference. Like, the biggest difference is the fact that, like, there's video game nerds and there's wrestling nerds, right? And
This is
sometimes
true.
they cross over, sometimes they don't. One second. Freya, come
No
here.
worries.
Come here, baby. I'm going to get you on my lap with your sister. Okay, there we go. Oh, sorry.
This
I have
is
a dog
equals
now.
views. Dogs and babies equals views.
I have 2 dachshunds on my lap right now, so
Awesome.
Let's just see how this goes. But yeah, really, just I guess the fandom. I don't know how else to describe it because I've met with a lot of similar challenges and I've met with a lot of similar wins in both industries.
That makes sense though.
Yeah.
So how long have you been a gamer?
Oh God, since I was like, what year did freaking Ocarina of Time came out? Like 96 or something, or 90. I don't remember. But my brothers got me into it, and we had an N64, and I just ever since then it's been over, you know.
N64 is my all-time favorite system. I put it on everything. I tell all my younger cousins and siblings that like N64 was where it's at. Forget Xbox One and PS whatever. So what would you say is your all-time greatest video game that you've ever got to play that kind of took over your life? Because video games tend to do that sometimes.
I mean, there's like 3 or 4 instances that come to mind. I won't lie to you. And obviously the first one is Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, because that was like my first game that I really sat down and played and got through. And then I was like, I need all the gold scutulas. I need all the milk bottles. Like, I need everything. I got to make sure I find all the great fairies. Like, it was like I had to do everything with it, you know? And then the next one that comes to mind is Kingdom Hearts, like the first Kingdom Hearts. And that game, like, I fell in love with that game. I would sneak downstairs, you know, at like 3 a.m. to play it and hope that I didn't get caught by my parents. And then I was a World of Warcraft nerd. I played World of Warcraft for years. So if you want to talk about a game that took over my life, World of Warcraft took over my life for years. For years, like, it was like I had to make sure that I had a Horde character and an Alliance character that were both, like, leveled up high enough, and they're playing. I give up. They're playing. I might put them in their cage. I haven't decided yet. But let's see. How bad does that sound on your end?
It just sounds like, I don't know if it sounds like playing or not.
No, they're definitely playing.
With wrestling, being in the wrestling world, being kind of new to it, what would you say is like doing the study of knowing your wrestling history? What is the one thing that you had to go back and watch that you were kind of disappointed you didn't get to live during the real time?
Yeah, there's so many things. Like, I won't lie to you. There's so many moments that I was like, wow, I wish I had seen that in person. It's like, my boyfriend Adam, he's been a fan all of his life, so he lived through a lot of those moments. So he'll be like, oh, I remember when this happened, and I was there when this happened. And like his first match that he saw, I think, oh God, I never remember. I think it was Mankind, and it's a hardcore match. No DQ. I don't remember which match was off the top of my head, but anyways, like, he was just talking about like his memories with it and how amazing and incredible it was, or you know. He saw Jeff Hardy come out at TNA in that horrible moment in wrestling history. You know, yes. Like, yes. Or the moment, I think one of the moments I wish that I had seen just for, like, the women's evolution, because I know that there's a bunch of amazing, incredible moments in wrestling, is when Bayley had won the title off of Sasha. Like, that, I've rewatched that match several times, and that moment always gets me. And I'm like, and if I had watched that live, I can't imagine how that would feel. And that moment means a lot, because it's just like women's wrestling is still evolving and still changing. And I could not be more grateful for all of the women that have paved the way, like, before where we're at now, and all the women that are currently paving the way for that, because it's still not perfect, you know, like there's still things that we're struggling with and fighting with and trying to figure out. Like, women's wrestling is still women's wrestling. It's not just wrestling, you know, like, and so there's a lot. And then the other moment, the stupid moment that I wish I had seen in person is when Vince McMahon challenged God.
What a great storyline. I go, if I need a laugh, I just go on YouTube and I watch Vince going into the church in the build up to that match.
Ray of light coming down that I was like, oh my God, they're doing it. It's God. They're just
absolutely
not afraid to do anything.
It's dancing to God's music. Was one of the greatest moments ever.
Yeah, 100%.
So I will make you jealous of me, though. I was there for NXT Brooklyn 1 to watch Bayley versus Sasha in that match, and I agree with you. That in my eyes, that's the greatest women's match of all time, because I was there live to witness it, and I almost was in tears watching Bayley like overcome Sasha, and it was such a great moment, such a great match. So I agree with you. That deserves so much praise.
And they killed it in that match. Like, it's such a good. It's like they clearly pushed themselves beyond like their normal limits, and they killed it. Like, absolutely killed it. And that is definitely one of those matches that I think that if for some reason you haven't seen, you need to watch, and especially if you're a woman that either is in wrestling or wants to get into wrestling, because that is like a huge moment right there. It's amazing.
You have to. So what would you say is a moment or match that you have been able to witness or be a part of during your time since discovering this whole world of wrestling?
Like, witness? and this has actually kind of happened recently. Like there's been a lot of stuff that's happened. But this one kind of means a lot in the sense of like everything that she's been doing for this business. And I was at the last Mission Pro show, obviously, and I got to watch Thunder go against Lindsay Snow. And I respect the hell out of both of those women. Like, I love them both, and like Lindsay's amazing and Thunder's amazing, and they're both like literal badasses. I don't know if I can curse or not, but they are. Okay, perfect. They are both
for a reason.
They are both literal badasses, and to watch them have such an amazing competitive match was just a really incredible thing to see in person, you know. And it was, you know, everything that Thunder's been doing for women in this business, and to see that, and for the NWA was like, that was amazing. That was amazing. Because I won't lie to you, because I don't have Dynamite. I've got to go find a way to watch it. I still haven't watched her match with Sheeta yet. I need to.
Yes.
I really need to, but I was there to see her with Lindsay, and it was really, really cool to see those two women be competitive and beat the living hell out of each other in like the best way. Like, they were both incredible.
So who would you say that you've been able to share the ring with, that you've learned the most from being in the ring and having a match with?
This one, so like I was in a short match with Thunder, and I learned a lot from her just being in the ring with her and feeling out and everything. I've learned a lot from her in general, just being fortunate enough to have her in Texas here and working with her so much. But the person I think I've learned the most from, I think, is Baby D, because her and I have had several matches together. And every time we have a match together, she shows me something new. Like, my current finishing submission is because she showed me how to do it. You know, like, it's, I don't know. She's so, the way her mind works, like, she's so creative, and it's just, as being someone who's really, really green to this business, and someone, I mean, really green in general to wrestling, really green to this business, still trying to learn all these things and how to put matches together. It's so great to sit there and be like, well, here's what I do. And then she's like, okay, well, let's just do this. And she's so creative. She can just put it all together and create such like a fun match. Like, and she's just a fun person too. I don't know. So when it comes to like being in the ring with somebody, I think I've learned the most from her. Now, of course, on top of it, when it comes to just training and being around somebody in general, I'm very fortunate that Prince Adam has taught me as much as he's taught me as well. Because he's literally, I mean, we live together. So we'll pull up New Japan and we'll sit here and he'll like stop it and be like, do you understand why this happened? Do you understand this? Blah, blah, blah. So like overall, I've learned the most from him. But in the ring, when it comes to like matches, like Baby D, and then I think just in general, just being around Thunder, I've learned a lot from her. And dude, I'm training with Jazz now. Like, I'm learning so much from Jazz too. Like, it's like, I'm just so grateful that I am surrounded with such incredible knowledge. I'm like, just teach me.
You seem like such a sponge. I love it. And
I'm so excited.
You told me off camera, and then you just mentioned here you're a fan of New Japan. In New Japan, I say to a lot of people, if it wasn't for places like Ring of Honor, New Japan, as an adult, I wouldn't be into this wrestling world as much as I am without them kind of steering the way and creating so many different stars, so many different moments and matches. What is a moment or match that you kind of, when people say New Japan to you, what's the moment or match you kind of think of?
Yo, it was different before, because I love, obviously, the Golden Lovers. I love that whole storyline. But recently we just watched a match with Will Ospreay and Takagi. I can't pronounce his name right.
Yes, Shingo Takagi. Yep.
Thank you. I'm so bad with names. We watched that match like 2 to 3 times, and I plan on watching it again. Like, talk about moments. Like, holy crap. We had to and that was the moment where he was like stopping it. Well, it was one of the moments where he was like stopping it, and he was like, explained why this happened and this happened. But it was such good storytelling, and I popped so hard for the for that whole beginning sequence. They're going for their finishes, they're going for their stuff, and then when they actually hit stuff in the finish, I literally I was sitting here like this, at the edge of my seat. I was like, this is brilliant. It was competitive, the whole freaking match, it was like they had like the great opening spot. It was competitive, the whole freaking match. And then when they got towards that finish, they did. I won't. If you guys haven't seen it, please go watch it. I don't want to spoil it.
Yes,
When they
we cover it. We cover
finishes,
it on the channel here. So if they haven't seen it, we've already spoiled it.
Okay, well, it's spoiled for you, but it was incredible. Like, it was, the payoff at the end was so good. I was like, I feel like I need a cigarette. Like, I just had good sex or something.
That's the best way to describe it. I
It is.
100% agree with you. And like you, I watch it with my significant other. Like I just got with my girlfriend early last year, and the first match I ever watched with her was Shingo versus Osprey from last year's Best of the Super Juniors. So
Oh.
I've been telling her ever since this one in the G1, I was like, you need to watch this. You need to watch this because I was amazed by it. Like you said, it's nonstop action. No, neither man gets the advantage for too long, and it's just the perfect ending. It ended at the right point. I can't agree with you any more than that.
It was flawless. And then another really great ending. I don't know if the most recent NXT takeover, I think it's 31 with Io and frickin' Candice LeRae. Yo, that's another great, like, we were like, I was sitting there watching it, I was like, this is how you do a finish. Like, this is great. I was popping for that one too. Sorry, mark it out. But that's another great finish. I don't know if it was different. It's the Osprey Shingo match. It's a different satisfaction from that one than the NXT match. But like, God, they're both so. I'm sorry, I'm marking out over here. They're so good. They're so good.
I love it. We love it. We are for wrestling fans by wrestling fans, so we love to talk to other wrestling fans, especially when they are competitors in the ring as well. So that brings us that we got to talk about the big event coming up, Mission Pro Wrestling Tournament Out of Hell, and you were going one-on-one with Lacey Ryan. I need to get your thoughts on this match and overall the tournament with so much talent involved in it. La Rosa Negra is involved. We got so many different. Thunder Rose is going to be there, of course. So much talent in this tournament. But what about your match with Lacey Ryan?
Yo, I'm so nervous. Like, I discovered Lacey Ryan myself like not that long ago. And the reason I discovered her was through all of her like clips of her doing all these amazing athletic things. I was like, oh wow, I can't. We just front flip off the top. I'm like, well, I can't do that. So I'm very excited. I'm super excited because she seems like she's a different kind of competitor in the sense of like, I feel her style is very athletic and very different from what I'm used to. I haven't really been up against I've been up against a lot of athletic women. Let me rephrase that. I don't know how to phrase this properly. But like the way she works is very, very indie, and I'm very excited for that because I have not really had a match like that yet. And I'm excited to push myself and really push to see how far we can actually take it because I want to go balls to the wall in that match. Like I don't want to hold anything back. I'm like if this is the person that I'm just gonna like blow my load out for like that month, that's what's gonna happen in this match. I don't know how. You said cursing and stuff was fine. So
Exactly. I'm with it. I love this type of stuff.
But it's true. Like it's like I'm actually working on I wanna up my athleticism because I know I can do it. So I'm like I'm gonna work on a couple things myself. We're gonna have a banger of a match. Like it's gonna be. I want it to be competitive because I know that we can have a badass competitive match together and. May the best woman with the highest power level win. That's all I'm gonna say. But like it's gonna be good. I'm gonna go balls to the wall. I don't care if we have 6 minutes. I don't care if we got 15 minutes. I'm just gonna run until I throw up.
That's the way you gotta do. And you talk about the things you're preparing for this match in particular, but what about the overall? If you move on to be involved in a tournament, multiple matches in a night, how are you preparing for this?
Just because I go balls to the wall in the first match doesn't mean that I won't have the stamina left to continue on in the second match because I've been upping my stats in stamina and been upping my stats in my critical hits and all that kind of stuff. So I'm definitely ready. I'm ready for more than one match. Like I am not worried about that at all. I've been working on cardio. I've been working on ring cardio, which is different from regular cardio, and honestly just going for as long as I can. So I know if I were to win that match, if I were to go on, then I would be able to have a second banger match. And if for some reason I was to move on again, I'd be able to freaking just go balls to the wall for that final. Like, I am just ready for it, man. There's a lot of energy here. See, like, even though it's early for me, there's energy, so I'm ready to go, dude.
You bring it. That's what we asked for, and that's what you're delivering. So like I said, there's so much talent in this tournament. You got Vanity, you got Raylan, you got Red Velvet. Who would you say out of all this talent is the one person where you're just like, I think I need to cross paths with this individual in this tournament?
I want to get in the ring with Velvet so bad. Like, I love everything about her. Like, she's freaking spunky. She's athletic. She's so talented. The way she moves, like, that woman moves like butter. I don't know how she freaking does it. She's so smooth. I would love absolutely one day to get into the ring with her. Like, she's on my list. Like, that's the goal.
She made the list.
She's been on the list for a minute. Like, she's I met her before at Kickstart My Heart. And, like, from the moment I met her, like, she's just an amazing, incredible person. On top of being an incredible athlete and an incredible professional wrestler. Like, she's just an overall amazing person. And I'm like, I really just I could learn, I could do so much. Like, I just want to get in the ring with you, girl. Like, one day. It's going to happen. Maybe not at the tournament, but it's going to happen one day.
Hey, we got faith in you. It just might happen at the tournament. You never know. You never know. So this is Tru Heel Heat. We love to ask questions about heels in professional wrestlers. We call ourselves Tru Heels because we say what we want to say. We are true wrestling fans. We say our opinions. We put it out there. But we love to talk villains in professional wrestling right here on Tru Heel Heat. So one of my final questions for you is, what is the greatest heel moment you have been able to witness in all your tape study, going back in time, or what you've witnessed in real time, New Japan, WWE, AEW, all in between? What is the greatest, the first one that comes to you? That's what
I mean, it's one of the most recent ones that comes to me, and it's Bayley. It's like the whole Bayley and Sasha when they were tagging recently. When Bayley freaking threw the ref shirt on and she went and, like, she fucking counted for Sasha and they got it off that. I was like, that's just ridiculous. Like, I'm pretty sure in my mind I can think of better heel moments, but, like, that's one of the first ones that comes to me. And then obviously, like we just talked about with NXT TakeOver, the most recent thing with Johnny Gargano doing the same thing, right?
But he couldn't do it.
But he didn't do it. Exactly. But it didn't happen. That was a different kind of payoff. But that's what comes to my mind first. And I know brain, I'm thinking, like, I'm going back and I'm racking my brain with, like, Stone Cold, and, like, I'm racking my brain with all these, like, old guys, right? But I can't, nothing's coming exactly to the top of my head. So we're just gonna have to go with that one. I'm sorry if I disappointed anybody in that, because it's not, like, it's more recent. So
the Bayley one is good because you really never see that with the heels. The heels always try to put the shirt on and count the three for their friend or their significant other, and then it never pays off. But this actually came through. It worked. Sasha got the title. I know our co-host for Tru Heel Heat, Miss Christy, loved that moment, so she'll be popping for you.
Oh, good. Good. I'm glad somebody will. Like, in all honesty, it's so funny. It's great in wrestling. You just put a ref shirt on. It doesn't matter who you are. You're an official. Just put a ref shirt on. That's all you need to do to be an official in a match. That pops me the most, by the way. Every time I see it, I'm like, we're just, okay. The official really has the official just shirt on.
He didn't need to get a license. Didn't he have to go to school? Just put a shirt on and you're all good. Put a shirt
on and you can count to 3.
We call wrestling logic. Absolutely.
I love wrestling logic. It's my favorite.
So my second to last question before I ask where everyone can follow you. You mentioned earlier you've learned a lot from Jazz, and one of the biggest news in women's wrestling most recently is her retirement. So what would you say in your time knowing her, watching what she has done, her impact on women's wrestling and you in particular in your career?
She's a legend. She's one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time, and nobody ever better counter me on that fact, because it's fact. Like, she is a complete an utter badass. Like honestly, she's before her time in my opinion. Like she's one of those women that's really paved and led the way for women wrestling and wrestling in general. And I say that because, there's always women's wrestling and then there's wrestling, and for some reason they're always separate. But no, she's a wrestler. She's like a wrestler's wrestler, and she's a freaking badass. Like she's not afraid to just, get somebody when they need it. And luckily for me, yes, she's retired, but she is still training us. So I'm sure that I will have a lot more moments with her in the future. But she's like one of the greatest teachers I've ever had, because she's so good at the way she explains things, and she's so calm, but at the same time, like, she'll make comments that just pop the hell out of me. Like, she's absolutely hilarious. She's a complete sweetheart. She's like Mama Jazz. She's there whenever you need her, and I am just so grateful that I'm in Texas right now, because I'm originally from California. So I'm so grateful that I'm in Texas and that I can train with her, because like there's like a very short list of women I think that I'd want to train under, and she's like top of that list. Like it's amazing. And it's really great too, just to have a female teacher, because all of my teachers in the past, not to dog them in any way, have been men. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's a little different. Like, there's things that she can help me out with, help out, all of her other students with, that are women that the men just never had to deal with. Like, that's just the reality of it. So it's, the knowledge and everything has just been amazing, and I have never been more grateful, like, to be in the situation I'm in right now. And like, I've literally been placed in, like, on a path to success because of all of the people that are around me, and I'm just like a sponge, like you said. Like, I'm just gonna shut up and listen and learn and work my ass off and pray to God it gets me somewhere.
It will. Your energy, your enthusiasm, it shines through. Really, really, really enjoyed this interview. You had me smiling more than usual. Aww. Because you're a wrestling fan like me, like the people watching this. So please tell them where they can find you on social media, your Twitch channel, and everything in between.
So you can find me on Instagram at Vert Vixen. You can find me on Twitter at. My Facebook is actually facebook.com/Alicia Cosplay, because I was a cosplayer for like 4 years. But if you look up Vert Vixen, it will come up. And my Twitch is twitch.tv/Vert Vixen. Now, fair warning, I have not streamed in the past like month and a half, because I've literally just been training every freaking night. So I will get back to streaming soon, I promise. But if you follow me there, then you will be ready for when I come back. So.
Get ready for the return. My final question before we tell them to like this video and all that. Your best cosplay ever.
Oh God, that's another hard. Why are you asking all these hard questions? It's not an easy question.
I saved the hard hitting ones for the end. That's what I'm known for.
You jerk. Tru Heel, aren't you? Anyway, so Arthas is one of my top favorites. I did a female version of the Lich King, and that one was all digitally sculpted and 3D printed by me. So that's like a different, like, it was cool. It was the first, like, let me 3D print some armor and let me do it really, because I was doing it really before a lot of people were doing it. I was one of the first ones to do it. And then the other one is Shard from Court of the Dead, which you probably have no idea who that is, but if you look up Sideshow Collectibles, they have a Court of the Dead line of statues, and so that was the first costume that I was hired to make professionally. So that was an insane whole ordeal, and I literally died. I probably died and came back several times while working on that costume.
We are glad that you came back to life and you were able to do this interview. So thank you so much, Vert Vixen. You guys at home, of course, follow her on all her social media platforms, the Twitch channel. Get ready for the return. And of course, get ready for Mission Pro Wrestling Tournament Out of Hell, when Vert Vixen goes one-on-one with Lacey Ryan, and we will see if she can come out of hell the winner of this tournament. So like this thumbs up, share this video with all your wrestling fans and friends, to push the iCard to subscribe and the bell to stay notified for all the great content right here on Tru Heel Heat. So this has been Tru Heels BTR Between the Ropes with Vert Vixen. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom SP3. We are signing off until next time.